And we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Tara Sin.
Hi, everyone. This is Veteran Mountain Man.
And I am the next 6 minutes.
And we are here because of motorcycle awareness. A good friend of mine, Ben Glazier, got hit on his motorcycle Wednesday night. He was obeying all the traffic laws, and some fucking moron wasn't paying attention, hit him, wrecked his own car, wrecked the motorcycle, and fled the scene.
Oh, man.
That is a hit and run, and that is a crime.
Yes, it is. So I'm about to pull up the news article, and I'm going to screen share.
Also, fleeing the scene of an accident.
Yep.
All right, so motorcycle driver seriously injured in Gainesville hit and run crash. This is the picture of the asshole that hit him. Gainesville, Florida. Gainesville police have arrested man accused of fleeing the scene after colliding with a motorcycle Wednesday night. Officers charged 35-year-old Daniel Grandios. I can't pronounce the last name. It's Spanish.
Let me see it. Can you blow it up a bit?
Here, I'll send you the link.
Okay. So that's one of the perks of growing up in.
I'll do it in the side chat.
Growing up in South Texas, you get to learn how to pronounce a lot of Spanish surnames.
Well, if it was German, I'd be better with it, but I don't speak the Spanish so much, Six.
My Spanish is very terrible. Just ask about the last couple of teachers I was in their class. Yeah, my Spanish is nothing to envy. Let's see.
It's still more than mine.
Okay, I'm trying to scroll down on this thing, but it's being very difficult.
I had to enlarge the words for myself.
Goodness. Oh, this is on Internet Explorer. No kid. No kidding.
It's spelled Altamirano.
Oh, it's Altamirano. Granados Altamirano.
Officers charged 35-year-old Daniel, I'm just going to say Daniel, with a hit and run involving serious injuries. Police say the crash happened around 10:40 p.m. at the intersection of 24th Avenue and Southwest 19th Court. An arrest report released on Thursday says Daniel attempted to left onto Southwest 24th Avenue and failed to yield to the right-of-way to a motorcycle heading west on Southwest 24th. Okay, here that most likely means that my friend had the right-of-way and the other fucker just didn't pay attention.
Right.
The report says the motorcycle struck the car on the front driver's side. The report says the collision destroyed the motorcycle. I'm going to show you what this motorcycle looks like and what my friend looks like, because it's not doxing him because his face is in the paper, his name is in the paper.
Yeah.
All right, screen sharing.
Oh, look at that beautiful thing.
That is a lovely, lovely piece of machinery.
And you know what? He was supposed to give me a ride on it at some point.
Oh, man. The stud work looks nice on that one.
That's a beautiful soft tail.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, made the most beautiful purr. And this is my buddy Glenn, who's now in the hospital.
So you might want to present yourself there.
I don't know how to present myself.
There we go. Sorry to hear that.
So Report says the collision destroyed the motorcycle. The driver, 40-year-old Benjamin Glazer, was taken to UF with life-threatening injuries. The report says Daniel walked home, called a friend, and told him he had been in a wreck, but fled because he was afraid of immigration issues. Motherfucker, you would have less chance of being deported if you'd stayed there and acted like an American fucking citizen.
That makes it a serious hit and run, and I'm tired of hearing that excuses out of illegals. We had 2 children who were playing in leaves here in Oregon, hit by an illegal, and she fled the scene, and they let her stay.
Yeah, no. This guy's in jail, luckily.
Thank goodness.
On Newberry Road around 2 a.m. The report says he had injuries on his arms consistent with the crash. It also says he had later admitted to being the driver and leaving the scene because he was worried about having his immigration status revoked. He's being held at the Alachua County Jail. So, because he's a douche, he fled the scene. Because he's an immigrant, he fled the scene. In Florida, we accept almost all fucking immigrants. Half the time, I can't get a job because I'm not an immigrant. Because I don't speak English and Spanish. I took Spanish in high school. Did it stick? No. I have Hispanic friends that came, that are here legally, even as children, and they still don't speak much Spanish. But worried about your fucking immigration status being revoked is no reason to flee a scene. No reason whatsoever. You want to be taken as an upstanding fucking citizen, even if you're an illegal, stay.
Do the appropriate thing as a driver. Stay and get the police there to help the person.
That's what American citizens do.
I have had my mom jump my ass because she worked for Nationwide Insurance. So I know a lot about car insurance laws. And so I saw an accident and a car hit another car and this little girl ended up with a broken arm. And I stayed and I spoke to the police because my mom told me that it is illegal for you to witness an accident and leave, even if you weren't involved in the accident, but you witnessed it.
Yep.
So I stayed. She got mad at me. I was like, you're the one that told me I had to do this, so I did it. After that, she didn't get mad at me.
Yep. You're just doing what you had been educated to do. And she doesn't have a foot to stand on in that argument.
Agreed. And there have been plenty of times where I've even pulled over when I've seen somebody on the side of the road and gone to help them if they didn't have help.
Right.
Why? Because it's the right thing to do.
Right. And if they are unable to call for help, then it's up to those who either witness the accident or arrive shortly thereafter. Because you don't know.
Yeah, that was the reason I pulled over. I saw the car on the side of the road in distress. I didn't see the driver on their phone. The driver was moving, but that could have meant that they had a concussion and didn't know what they were doing. And so I stopped and asked if they were okay. They told me that they had already called somebody, and I'm like, okay, not a problem. You know.
So you did your due diligence as a concerned citizen, and that's at least what Americans are supposed to do. Not everybody does that, and that sucks.
I actually pulled up a website on 10 ways, 10 things every driver should know about sharing the road with motorcycles. Now, see, I ride scooters. Same thing as a motorcycle, same laws. I've used to own a moped, a real moped, not the scooter-looking shit that they talk about now. I mean one where if the engine won't electric start, you have to pedal to get that bitch going.
Yeah.
And when I hear people go, oh, this is a moped, I'm like, no, that's a fucking scooter. Does it have pedals on it? Well, no. Okay, then. It's a scooter, not a moped.
Yeah. There's the PED is it's
It's crucial.
Latin. It's Latin for foot, I believe, or Greek for foot.
Yeah.
And that implies that there is a mechanism there for feet. For yeah.
So I'm a member of a status update for Ben. His sister is up there. They're hoping to stabilize and fix his pelvis.
Wow.
Hit him hard, and this man is a nurse at Shands.
Wow.
That's even worse.
That's a big bone. That's a big bone.
This man has a beautiful wife, a beautiful child. I admit the wife and I don't get along. I've known this man for years when we both did AmpGuard. And I know you, Mountain Man, you know what AmpGuard is.
I know what AmpGuard is. Do we have a GoFundMe for this guy to help him?
I asked that question and I'm waiting to find out.
Because, I mean, I don't have much, but I'd be willing to thumb a few bucks his way to help cover this stuff, because this is not going to be cheap.
No, it's not.
And I'd almost guarantee you that guy doesn't have full coverage insurance, the one that hit him.
No. This is from his mom in Austin. Posted yesterday. The doctors are working hard to stabilize him in preparation for all the procedures he will undergo in order for him to walk out of the hospital completely healed.
Shit like this makes me very, very angry. I grew up in what's near what's referred to as the Valley in Texas. It's that region north of the Rio Grande Valley, and it was, I would say, about at least once a month you would hear something about some illegal either running over somebody or doing something, committing some kind of crime that when Americans are involved with these kind of crimes, they stick around and then they talk to the police. I mean, these range from your minor fender benders to outright hit and runs that they don't stick around for. And what sucks about that is because when you are the person on the receiving end of that, you're not going to be dealing with any sort of insurance company to recoup your losses.
Nope.
I'm actually messaging his sister right now to see if she's watching the stream live to comment in the chat so I can make sure her voice is heard.
Yeah. And I live in Northwest San Antonio. It's a very cyclist friendly area. This is one of the places known by cyclists. The Northwest San Antonio area, Helotes and the other surrounding suburbs. These are this is known as a cycle friendly area, and there are a lot of cyclists that do come through this area. It's Bandera Road. You see them all the time. Whenever you cross the 1604, there's a lot of cyclists going up and down that stretch of Bandera Road, and
yeah,
it's sometimes I pray for these guys, and it's like, yeah, I know it's a friendly area for cyclists, and more so than a lot of stretches in San Antonio. Drivers are aware that this is a cyclist friendly area. At least I hope most of them have by this time come to understand that. But there's always that one odd asshole that probably isn't from this particular part of town or even the city that think they just own the road 100% and drive like it. And when a cyclist comes out and
Hey, Six,
Shit.
I'm going to send you on the side chat the link to the 10 things you should know about sharing the road with motorcycles.
Hmm.
Do you mind actually reading it? Because I get the feeling that if I do, because I admit I've been drinking, I might start crying.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's understandable.
Well, Six, it's not just San Antonio that's huge for cyclists. I mean, Portland has up a sign that used to say bicyclist capital of
Yeah.
the United States. You know, we get people hit every week here by people not paying attention.
Yeah.
Here in Gainesville, we have a pedestrian law. People on bicycles and walking have the right of way. It doesn't matter what part of the road they're in. If they're jaywalking, they have the right of way. Even though most of the time I'm like, oh my God, let me run these fuckers over. But I don't do it. But that's usually only when, I'm frustrated. I've been in traffic all day.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like, can you at least just, move a little faster? Apparently, according to my aunt, it's all over Florida that the law. That everywhere in Florida, pedestrians have the right of way. Here, we have bike lanes. Don't have them everywhere. You'll be riding along, and all of a sudden the bike lane stops. People keep going in the road, and I'm just like, okay, there's no longer a bike lane. There is, however, a sidewalk. You're supposed to get up on that. And they are, because the bike lane will literally lead towards the sidewalk. They'll just keep going on the main road. And we have to give them the right of way, even if it's going to cause traffic issues.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Did you want me to read the thing?
Just start from number one.
Okay. And so this is 10 things every driver should know about sharing the road with motorcycles. And this also includes cyclists, the guys that are on bicycles. Let's see.
So anyone on two wheels.
Anyone on two wheels that is sharing the road with any vehicle that is motorized. Let's put it that way. Always check your blind spots. This is number one. This is possibly the number one reason for accidents involving motorcycles and cars. Motorcycles are smaller than other vehicles and can be more difficult to spot while merging or changing lanes. The shape of motorcycles and rider is more likely to blend into the images you see in your rear view and side view mirrors than that of a large automobile. Take your time before merging and devote several seconds to searching each of your car's blind spots before proceeding with your intended maneuver. Check this video guide to make sure your side view mirrors are set properly. Well, there's a video guide. I guess we can post this in the chat.
Yes.
When this is over, and also it might help to post it in the description.
I will go ahead and go do that.
I'm posting it in the chat right now, Tara.
Okay.
And Tara, post it in the description.
Crud, it didn't let me because I don't have a moderator.
Comment, and I will give you one.
Yeah. Number 2, be extra cautious when passing. It is lawful to pass a motorcycle in the same way you would an automobile, assuming that you are driving on a section of roadway that allows passing. However, the gust of wind that results from your increase in speed as you pass could cause the motorcycle to become unstable and blow the rider off the road. Make sure you signal your intention to pass a slower motorcyclist by using your left turn signal. Always make sure you are several car lengths ahead of the motorcycle before returning to your lane. Number 3, remember that motorcycles react more quickly than cars. Make sure that you maintain an adequate following distance behind motorcycles. Rear-ending a motorcycle can be fatal to the driver, particularly if you drive a large, heavy vehicle.
I want to say one thing about the whole checking your blind spots. That means for those of you that have the cameras on your car, you still have to look.
Agreed.
I mean, cameras, they're great. My aunt's car has cameras. But most of the time, I'm driving other people's cars that don't have cameras, cars that are old. So what you need to do is you actually need to hold onto your wheel and turn and look in your blind spots to see where the motorcycles are. I can't tell you how many times I have almost hit a motorcycle because I actually forgot or I was too busy trying to get into the next lane. My town is filled with motorcyclists and scooter people and everything like that.
Yeah.
We are completely filled with them. I mean, you go down University and you see we have parking areas specifically for scooters, bicycles, and motorcycles, and you will see them piled up damn near on top of each other.
Yeah, just because you have a fancy camera system, they are limited.
Exactly. There are still blind spots in that camera system.
That's why cars that come with cameras, you will notice, will also still include side and rear view mirrors. And there's a reason for that. And that's because cameras cannot cover every angle. And to be more thorough, to do your due diligence, you check each of those mirrors when you're about to make a lane change or when you're about to make a turn. That's just good driving prudence.
Agreed.
Let's see. Number 4, weather warning. A bad weather has more drastic effects on motorcycle riders than it does for automobile riders. Rain and winter weather in particular can make it almost impossible for a motorcyclist to continue to travel. Windy conditions can make it difficult for motorcyclists to control their vehicle on the road. Also, remember that weather conditions often reduce your own visibility and may cause motorcycles to be more difficult to see. So, in essence, what that means is if it's raining outside, your view will be partially obscured depending on the volume of rain you encounter. That means that you have to be extra careful of the other motorists around you, and especially those who are on 2 wheels.
You know, I would like to say something about this one, especially because of up here in Oregon. I see people doing this all the time. When you've got inclement weather, you need to turn your headlights on, people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that the others around you can see you as well. Part of the reason to drive with your headlights on in bad weather is so others see you, so you can see.
And if it's raining too hard, don't keep up with traffic or go the speed limit. Slow down. Because that ½ inch of rain that you got on the road, you can cause a huge accident.
You can.
Believe me, it was drizzling here all day, drizzling. We had maybe a ½ inch of water on the road, and it was still seeping into the road. And I was going the speed limit. I hydroplaned. I almost wrecked my car. But I gained control back. So people, seriously, if it's raining hard, if it's raining at all, if the roads are slick, slow down. Trust me, your life is not worth the hurry that you are trying to get to.
Impatience can be a killer.
And I don't have patience. That is not a virtue I possess. But I kind of enjoy living.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 5. Night riding can be treacherous for motorcyclists. Help riders stay safe after dark by increasing your following distance, ensuring that your high beams are turned off when you notice a approaching motorcycle, and refraining from passing. Yeah, I see this all the time. People tailgating at night.
That's utterly insane.
It really is. I've seen this.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I usually slow down and make them pass me.
Yeah.
Or I've done this before. I've done a brake check, and they decide to back off.
Yeah. Half the time when somebody is tailgating me at night, they are a drunk driver. And
Yep.
that's very scary. When I notice that there is a drunk driver very near me, I start slowing down and I let them pass. If I can get a glimpse of their plates, then I will notify authorities. But if I can't get a glimpse of their plates, then I keep my distance. And not everybody has the luxury of seeing them beforehand. And I know a lot of these guys catch me off guard. Sometimes it's like, holy shit, there's a fucking drunk driver swerving around. It's just,
to be fair, Six, I have a voice recognition program on my smartphone, and I wear my Bluetooth headset when I drive. Because I was nearly struck head on by a drunk driver driving down the wrong side of a road.
Yeah. That's that. Yeah. I should get a setup like that.
Well, and that was about a year ago, and the road I was on was actually a divided road. So there was a grass median of about 50 feet between traffic. So the person had somehow pulled into the side of the road that was going the opposite direction than they were going.
Jesus.
And because of that incident, I was able to swerve out of their way because they were in the fast lane heading into oncoming traffic, and I moved over to the slow lane because it was like 3 a.m. and I was on my way to work. After that incident, I bought myself a Bluetooth headset and put a instant call system on my phone so that I could call the police in my area for when I saw that happen again.
Very, very smart. I'm gonna look into that.
I wish they had that when I was a little kid because my daddy was hit on his bicycle by a semi truck.
Wow.
On his way home from work.
Wow.
And he survived.
Very
he was hit by 9 of the 18 wheels.
Whoa. Wow.
But yeah, I would recommend that most people set that up because especially with like drunk drivers, that's a great way to be able to report what they're doing.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 6, stay in your lane. Motorcycles are legally entitled to their own lane of traffic. In no situation are you allowed to drive your automobile in the same lane and in close proximity to a motorcycle. No matter how small these vehicles are or how much extra room there appears to be, sharing a single lane with a motorcycle is a recipe for an accident and illegal.
Yeah, so no, there's plenty of space. He can just, scoot up or move over. No. Think of that motorcycle as a car. Seriously, people. You keep the same distance between yourself and the motorcycle as you would another car. For me, that's about a half a Volkswagen, the old V-dubs. Herbie the Love Bug.
Well, I was going to say the old Vanagon.
My mom taught me the way of she told me to keep the disc, so many feet. And I'm like, well, I need kind of a visual. She's like, okay, Herbie the Love Bug? I was like, yeah. She's like, half that distance, half of Herbie. I was like, okay, so I actually keep about a Volkswagen Beetle size or a, what is it? A Mini Cooper size distance between me and the other vehicle in front of me, if I can.
So there's a...
I have been asked to share this link in a new post. So give me just a moment.
Not a problem.
While you're doing that, I'll read the next one. 7, inform motorcyclists of your intention to turn. Initiate your turn signal sooner than you would normally. When you know there is a motorcycle driving behind you, not only is this courteous, it also helps reduce pileups involving motorcycles. Well, here's an interesting thing. This is what I see a lot. This is probably one of the most common idiotic things that I see when I'm driving around San Antonio is that half the people in this town do not use turn signals. They just start. they change lanes without signaling.
No, I've noticed that a lot more in the cities that I've been in here in the U.S. it seems to be like a city culture thing, because when I was living out further out in like the smaller towns and such, everybody always signaled, but big
Yeah.
cities, it seems to be a huge problem.
Yeah. I think what part of the reasons is it takes more computational power than they're willing to fork over in order to do the kind of idiotic maneuvers that I see these people do, just to save fractions of a second.
I mean, what the fuck? Seriously. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna get fired from my job. I drive people to and from work a lot. It's more or less what I do right now, other than making reeds and purses. And I've been told I'm gonna be late to work. I'm like, okay, I'll drop your kid off after I drop you off at work. I go the speed limit, unless it's raining. Then I'm like, you're screwed. But I go the speed limit. I try and get them to work on time. But it doesn't always work out that way. I'm just like, hey, you're going to have to come up with some reason that they'll excuse.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going, I get mad at some motorcyclists because they act like they own the fucking road because they'll zig in and out of traffic, but I really can't do anything.
Yeah.
And it drives me insane. Because it's not just regular drivers. It's also the motorcyclists. They take the fact that they have a small, high-powered vehicle between their legs for granted.
Yeah. When I was working in retail, my workplace was just over 6 miles away. But I knew that in order to get there, I may run into some traffic. So I always, I started off half an hour or more, because I knew there would be a possibility I may run into some traffic. So I took that into consideration. If there was nobody on the road, it might take me about 10.5 minutes to actually get to work. But normally, anywhere from 25 minutes to half an hour is about the average. Given the time of day, then I have to start tacking on 15-minute increments. If I expected a little heavier traffic due to like lunch crowds, that could easily be 45 minutes. So yeah.
All right, I want to pause for a moment and rehash for those just joining. This is a stream about motorcycle awareness for my friend Ben, who was hit Wednesday night by someone that was a fucking dumbass, and luckily he's in jail. This is Ben. He is in the hospital with serious injuries. 40-year-old with a wife and daughter. Great man, really sweet. I've known him for years. This is the beautiful motorcycle that he rode everywhere. And they wrecked. We are here talking about motorcycle awareness. Again, he is in the hospital with serious injuries. If any of his family or friends are in the chat, feel free to comment, speak up. If you want to get in on this panel, I am more than willing to do that. I will throw you the Hangout link. You can do it through your phone or your laptop. And I think on a tablet too. So, comment, let me know what's going on. Keep me updated. I will do update streams. Not a problem. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay. Let's see. Number 8, intersections are danger zones. Many vehicle accidents that involve both automobiles and motorcycles occur at intersections, particularly blind intersections. Always follow the safety protocol for intersections every single time you approach one. Come to a complete halt, view and obey posted traffic signals and signals. Look both way for approaching traffic and proceed slowly. I've seen plenty of dumbasses do stupid things at intersections. Particularly
All the
those
time, man.
Yeah, particularly those that are four-way stops that don't have electronic signs, because I guess they didn't pay attention in driving school what order you're supposed to go in, and certainly those that get in a hurry. Oh, they're these are the kind of guys that even if you're driving faster than the speed limit, they'll pass you to arrive at the same stop fractions of a second before you do. Yeah, it's idiotic, and you will run into those kind of impatient people, and they are more prone to get into accidents because they're only thinking about getting to their destination quickly, and they don't have much regard for everybody else, including themselves.
I've also found that doing that does nothing more than just waste a lot of gas as well.
So, from the family, I told them that we're doing the stream right now. One of the family member, Ben's aunt, says, "My sister and family appreciate all the help you can get. Thank you again." So I told him, I said, come and comment in the chat, or I can send a Google Hangout link and you can speak on air.
Yep.
Well, and like I said, if they've got a GoFundMe, I'd love to get it from you and post it.
I let them know that I already have a friend that wants to throw a few bucks that way.
Yeah.
And they are like, oh my God, thank you. So they're probably going to create the GoFundMe right now. They were kind of waiting to speak with legal about this. But, I was like, it can still help with, anything else.
Yeah.
And Tara, I'm going to say this right now ahead of time. If you get me that GoFundMe link, I'll make sure it's on the live stream on Tuesday, and I'll make sure to remind you to talk about it again.
Okay.
Same thing on Thursday.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Well, it's the least I can do.
Because, when it comes to stuff, most of the time, I have no feeling about people getting injured. Because it's like, oh, you're a dumb fuck problem. But, Ben, he obeyed the traffic laws. He did everything he was supposed to. But no, this dumb fucker has to go and go. I think why I'm so upset, and I'm about to cry, is this is shades of what happened to my grandmother. My grandmother was an RN nurse, and she did home care. She had the right of way in traffic, and some dumb fucker ran the red light and T-boned her car. She ended up with a broken neck, same as Christopher Reeve, actually, and a shattered ankle bone. And this was back, I started high school in 96, so this is back in 94. And she survived. She ended up going a little crazy. But she survived and ended up passing away February 14th, 2010, due to leukemia and not due to injuries from the accident. But wow. It's, like I said, it's shades of my grandmother. And I think that's why I'm so upset, is because the person that hit my grandmother wasn't from here. He was from Austria or some shit. And he was in a rental car. And so it's like, if you're going to come to America and you're going to drive a fucking car, Obey the fucking law. Otherwise, you get people like Ben or my grandmother seriously injured.
It is the responsibility for anybody visiting this country to be familiar with our traffic laws. Because if you're not, you become a danger to yourself and everybody else.
Well, it's the responsibility of every good driver to be familiar with the traffic laws of any country they drive in. I held an international European license for several years while I was on the active duty military service. I had to learn all of their laws, and it was tough. But it was required so that I could even operate a vehicle over there.
Exactly. It's necessary.
It is.
Ben is a good man. He treated people with respect. If you fucked him over, he cut you out of his life. He didn't even try and get vengeance. He was just like, okay, I'm done with you. Fuck off. So this really should not have happened to him. But no, some dumb fuck decides, oh, you know, I'm just going to make this turn and not pay attention to what the fuck I'm doing, and causes my friend to be in an accident.
Yep. This one should be it's very timely that you mentioned exactly that, because number 9 is watch for turning motorcycles. Self-canceling turn signals did not become a standard on motorcycles until the late 1970s. There are still many motorcycles on the road today that did not have these self-canceling turn signals that we are now accustomed to. If you notice that a motorcycle is driving with an activated turn signal for an abnormal distance, increase your following distance so that you have time to react whenever the rider does decide to turn. Yeah.
On my scooter, my Beamer Matrix, it did not have a self-canceling turn signal. And this was in 2005.
Yep.
So, 2006, actually. But it didn't have a self-canceling turn signal. So I had to turn it off anytime I turned. And I had to pay attention to that. A lot of most motorcyclists, they are busy paying attention to everything else around them on the road that sometimes they forget their turn signal's still on. I'll be right back.
Yeah. A lot of times on the road, you'll see that somebody has neglected to turn off their turn signal. There's some steering wheels that are more have more sensitivity as far as shutting off your turn signal automatically.
I'm going to turn off my camera for right now, and I'll turn it back on in a minute. Okay.
So you see these people traveling long distances with their turn signal on. These are the ones that you have to be most wary of because they're the most unpredictable. And it is your responsibility to keep an eye on these people and closely monitor what they're doing and give yourself enough time to react. It's you should not have this attitude that, oh, well, they're doing something wrong, so it's incumbent on them to make all the decisions from here on out. No, it is your responsibility to not only protect yourself, but other drivers by reacting to somebody with their turn signal on for long periods of time, because when you react, other people see you react and they react in turn. So there always has to be that first person that does that, because not everybody is going to be aware of the situation. So they may be proceeding on without fully understanding what's going on just in front of them.
If you don't want to continue riding behind them and you have another lane to get into, do it. Get into that other lane.
Yeah. Now, I travel with my dad a lot, and he doesn't hear as well as he used to. So he's often not aware that his turn signal is even on because he can't hear the clicking. And that's common for a lot of turn signals. It's very, very soft noise that not everybody is going to be able to pick up on. And they may have their left turn signal on for 5, maybe 10 miles and not hear a thing, and not be aware that their turn signal is on, and they're not turning. So they have people behind them, and that's very common.
Yeah, 6. I know what you mean. And to be fair, it's not necessarily even just people who have lost their hearing quite a bit. It can also be anyone who's had hearing loss that's targeted.
Mhm.
A lot of soldiers or shooters, they'll have hearing loss in one ear more than the other. And so they might not be able to hear the clicking on one ear, but be able to hear it with another. The way
Correct.
the inside of their car is laid out, they can't hear it. I know I have issues with that, and so I watch my indicators more closely in my dash because of that.
Yeah. So when Terry gets back, I'll read off number 10.
Oh,
Am I
shoot.
not talking?
What's that?
I was saying, sometimes I have issues with my right ear where I don't hear certain sounds. I had a hearing test about a year ago, and it was doing the low sounds, and I'm like, is this thing even on? And I couldn't hear the pulsing sounds. So
Right.
sometimes it's just a slow degrade in certain sounds. So like Mountain Man, I watch my indicators when I'm driving to make sure that they're turned off. If I've already made my turn.
Yeah. Because the way that most modern cars are, that once you turn a certain degree of rotations with your steering wheel, it'll shut that turn signal off because it senses you've already made that turn, but it doesn't always pick up on that. And particularly if you're driving in a straight line where you don't do a lot of wheel turning to begin with, then a lot of times it won't shut off. So you have that thing going on, and that can be dangerous for other drivers. Let's see, number 10. Take a second look at left turns. Before you cross a lane or lanes of traffic to turn left, take a second look for approaching motorcycles. Vehicle accidents involving the collision of a left-turning car and an approaching motorcycle can be very severe, often because motorcycle T-bones the car while it's midway through the left turn. There is a short video guide that they'll see once the link is posted to this article on how to make a proper left turn.
Again, the article is posted in the description and in the chat. So if you're watching this as it goes, not long into it is the link in the chat. And again, it's in the description. Click on it. Read it.
There are 2 videos. Watch them.
All right. So what's number 10, 6?
That was number 10. There's a
Oh,
little bit of information at the bottom of this thing. Remember, there is no such thing as a fender bender for a motorcycle rider. They are completely exposed. Most multi-vehicle accidents involving motorcycles cause serious or fatal injuries to the drivers. It is your responsibility as the driver of an automobile to take caution and do everything in your power to prevent motorcycle accidents. So it's the moral of the story is that it is always your first responsibility to keep yourself safe. And in doing that, it is also your responsibility to keep all those around you safe, and so on and so on and so forth, for everybody that's on the road. It is your first responsibility. It is not up to the other person to keep you safe. You have to keep you safe.
In other words, act like everyone else is a giant fucking tank trying to run you over and stay out of their way.
Exactly. And by virtue of keeping yourself safe, it is your responsibility to keep everybody else safe.
Remember, defensive driving isn't just about you getting there on time. It's about everybody arriving together.
Exactly. Pay attention to the road. Pay attention to the cars around you. I mean, don't do so enough that you get into a wreck, but make sure you're aware of the vehicles around you.
And for goodness sakes, put down the smartphones, people.
Yeah, there's a hands-free option for a reason. I actually use this headset when I'm driving people to and from work and I have a live stream or I have a phone call. And these guys constantly bitch about the turn signals, the me breaking up, everything like that. But, you know, they would prefer me to do this hands-free and mute myself or them mute me and me pay attention to the road than for me to get into an accident because I'm so engrossed in the live stream.
Agreed.
Right. Yeah, because when you're when you're paying attention to your smartphone, you might as well be asleep at the wheel.
Or drunk.
Yeah. And if a GoFundMe happens to appear, I will be shilling it out all over Discord. I don't care who says what. They can all suck my invisible dick. I will be giving it to my friends here, other friends. I will be editing this specific description to put the GoFundMe in there if it comes about. Again, they are waiting to speak with lawyers to see what they can and can't do.
Well, and as soon as you've got it, Tara, if they can do one, let me know because it'll go in the rest of my videos for the week too. Maybe for the next month or so because this is going to be bad for this guy.
Yeah. I want to go up to the hospital and visit him, but, you know, we weren't that close, but he was still a friend.
I feel you. Right now, it's going to be best for you to help get some awareness out there and then wait for him to wake up because until he wakes up.
From what I understand, he's awake.
He is?
From what I'm reading, they still have him heavily sedated. But, you know, mostly for the pain because, well, pretty much his entire body is, like, I guess, shattered. Matter of fact, I am talking to his sister right now. She says she's up at the hospital anyway.
Well, just wanted to remind everybody that's watching the stream now and in the future, there are links in the description. Click on them and learn from them. Because the more people that know,
okay,
the right
he's
thing
on
to
a
do.
ventilator.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I asked his sister, you know, what is his condition exactly? What's broken? I'm waiting for her to respond.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's bad if he's on a ventilator. That means he's having trouble breathing.
Yeah.
Means he's probably got some cracked ribs.
Well, we already know he has a broken pelvis.
Yeah. Ouch.
His pelvis is fractured and his left arm is broken.
So much of this can be avoided just by applying
And ribs.
a little bit of patience.
Not surprised about the ribs, Tara. Like I said, if they've got
I'm not surprised either. I've told her to let me know if a GoFundMe gets going. I will send it out far and wide.
Yeah.
So again, for everyone listening, this stream is about motorcycle awareness because a good friend of mine got hit on a motorcycle by someone not paying attention to the road rules.
Well, and there's one more thing that wasn't covered in that I did want to state. I know several guys that do long rides and have been tapped on multiple occasions. When you are behind a motorcycle or next to a motorcycle and you're driving, don't focus on the motorcycle itself. A lot of guys get caught up on it. Instead, make sure you're paying attention to what you're actually doing for the operation of the vehicle. Because a lot of times you'll end up drifting and clip them anyway if you're not.
Yep. I had a friend in Australia that actually came off of his bike because a car cut him off. And he ended up with a whole bunch of road rash, and his motorcycle was fucked. So again, go ahead.
There's a guy that I watch a lot on YouTube. He has a channel where he does a lot of sword and knife reviews. His name is Scalagrim.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, he was biking away from his home, and he was hit. He doesn't remember what happened. He remembers taking off from his home on his bicycle. He doesn't remember much after that. All he remembers is waking up in the hospital with numerous injuries. Separated shoulder, cracked ribs, a lot of really bad stuff, and as a result, he has a tear in his shoulder. I think it's from the separation, and he's had to strengthen a lot of the muscles in there to compensate for the parts of his shoulder that are permanently damaged. And it sucks for him because he did a lot of competitive, what do they call it? European martial arts, something or other.
Yeah, European martial arts.
Yeah, the European
I was
martial
gonna say
arts.
mixed.
Yeah, and yeah, he does sword fighting. Yeah, competition sword fighting, and he's had to drastically cut down on that. And his demonstrations, he's had to do a lot of adjustment in order to be able to do the stuff that he used to do with his knife and sword demonstrations, to compensate for the amount of mobility he's lost because of his injuries, because of being hit by a car. You got to pay attention when you sit down in the car. Your priority is paying attention to what's in front of you, all around you, because you are in a mechanism that weighs a lot. And there are pedestrians out there. There are animals. There are people on bikes, motorcycles. There are people that cannot stress it enough. Pay attention.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to screen share one more time. And again, this is Ben. He's in the hospital on a ventilator with broken ribs, a broken left arm, and a fractured pelvis. He was riding this beautiful motorcycle legally. He obeyed all the laws. Whereas the guy that hit him, which you can go all the way back to the beginning of this stream to see his ugly mug, because I don't want to see it again. I have friends that work down at the jail that know Ben. And if they find out that that's the guy that hurt Ben, that guy's going to get hurt. So, because if I see that man's face again, I'm going to let them know. But if there's a GoFundMe that happens, his family's going to let me know, and I will make sure that everyone knows about this GoFundMe.
Good.
So people, remember, when you get into your car, you're not just in charge of getting to your destination. You're in charge of whether or not you kill somebody or injure somebody. So pay attention. Motorcycles actually have a little more leeway on the road than you do because of the size of their vehicle. Pay attention. Make sure you check your blind spots, even if you have a fucking camera all around your car. Look at the blind spots. You're at a stop sign and you're eager to make a turn. Wait 5 seconds. Literally 5 seconds.
Make sure everything's right.
Make sure that no one else is running a red light or anything like that, because I can't tell you how many times that saved my life. So, watch what you're doing. Pay attention to other vehicles. Pay attention to motorcycles. If you think you hear one, there's probably one near you. Make sure you let them have the right of way. Watch out for bicyclists. Watch out for pedestrians. This is Tara Sin with Motorcycle Awareness. Have a good day.